Yo ho ho, Dom Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Report. It is your boy, Dan Mitchell, and I know, like myself, you are absolutely excited for Buffalo Bills football to start on Sunday. In fact, it is 24 hours exactly from the time that I'm filming this video that the Buffalo Bills begin their first chapter of their Super Bowl run. However, there were some different news items that have broken recently, specifically when it comes down into injury reports, when it comes from the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I thought that we should go over all of these and really dissect how it is going to affect the overall outcome of the game tomorrow. But before we do that, I do want to go on ahead and just give our sponsor an opportunity to say something. Oh brother, Dan with another advertisement, and I'm willing to bet that he's getting paid for this too. You're damn right. You think this is? Well, luckily today's sponsor just so happens to be MyBookie, something that I am a regular user of. If you have no idea what MyBookie is, it is the #1 online sportsbook across the entire internet. It is my go-to place for any type of parlay, spread, money line, and over-under bets, and much, much more. This football season, if you are looking for an online sportsbook, look no further than MyBookie. And so what makes it better is that MyBookie is also hooking up the Don Mafia with matching your very first deposit up to $1,000 as long as you put in the code DM. So, you know, like the letters DM. Used in a sentence would be, why is your mother in my DMs? So whatever you're doing, it's time to put your money where your mouth is. If you really know what you're talking about with football, you might as well make some money off it, and MyBookie is the place to do it. So whatever you're doing, hit that link in my description, and let's start making some money. So yeah, Dom Mafia, as many of you know, I'm sure that you have seen that the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers have listed a couple of names of players that are either out or they are questionable to play. And I wanted to go through each and every single one of them. I found all of this information via bangedupbills.com. If you don't follow bangedupbills.com, you can follow them on Twitter, or they have their website. It is the go-to place for any type of question when it comes to any type of Buffalo Bills injury. It gives you a realistic outcome and look at where this player is from a recovery aspect. I really recommend following these guys. They are the absolute best. However, from the Bills' perspective, this is how we're looking. Star is not going to play. And in my opinion, that is probably the #1 thing that I am most concerned about. He is our true one-tech defensive tackle. And a lot of the reason why I think that our pass rush was not effective whatsoever had to do with the fact that we didn't have a defensive lineman that offensive linemen were so scared of that they had to double team. It ended up screwing up our overall production when it came from Ed Oliver and the other defensive ends that we had from last year. Now, why I think that we're going to be okay is the fact that the Steelers' offensive line, we're talking 3 rookies. They are PFF graded, the worst offensive line in the entire NFL at this point. And I also like the additions that we made on the defensive end side of things. Because while I think Star was a huge common denominator of why our pass rush was not stellar last year, I think it also had to do with the fact that our talent wasn't quite there. So I do see us being able to recover from this. I don't see this being a death knell. This does not change my prediction of the game whatsoever, but it's going to suck not having Star out there. Apparently, we're talking a calf injury. He only played 1 preseason game against the Green Bay Packers. From what I'm understanding, he took an entire year off of football. It's probably just sore, and Sean McDermott is looking toward the future and wants Star to be a part of this defensive line moving forward throughout the season and not risk him aggravating it and making it potential that he sits out for several weeks. So I'm completely fine with this, but I will miss him being on the defensive line. #2 is going to be Emmanuel Sanders. He has a foot injury, which at this point he is listed as questionable. Throughout practice, throughout this week, he has been limited. He's been seen on the sidelines jogging around. However, no one knows whether or not that he's going to be able to play. We all know how excited we got when we saw that 5-wide set. You know, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley. So now that the regular season is here, we'd also mix in Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. If Emmanuel Sanders is not out, it's almost like John Brown was not going to be in 2020. And the several games that John Brown was not in, the Buffalo Bills still did very well. I would love nothing more than Emmanuel Sanders being out there and just putting out an absolute clinic on route running between him and Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs. But at the end of the day, I really don't see this affecting my overall prediction of the game. I would love for him to be out there, but at the end of the day, if we just sit him, let him rest, make sure that he's good to go against the Dolphins, I'm not going to be an angry person. So then it comes down to the Steelers. There's really only one name that is on the questionable list. For the most part, the Steelers are a very healthy squad. We are seeing the full Steelers going down into it. However, the one name that is listed as questionable at this point is going to be Alex Highsmith. He is a linebacker, very effective linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, while he is still listed as questionable, he was a full participant in practice for these past 2 days. So it is almost inevitable that he is going to be out there. That's really not anything that the Bills should prepare for. Highsmith will be out there. And then we're also seeing the return of Devin Bush, who you have heard me say all week that I am sincerely worried about this, right? However, banged up Bills ended up making a tremendous take. If Alex Highsmith is questionable and if Devin Bush is questionable, both of those two are not going to be 100%. There is no way in hell that both of these guys are sitting out 100%. With Devin Bush, this is the first NFL action that dude man has taken since October of last year. He's going to be rusty. His ACL is nowhere near 100% complete. He probably still needs a little bit of rest. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Buffalo Bills really attack that linebacker level, because Devin Bush is not going to be 100%. This is his absolute first game coming back off of rehabilitation from his ACL injury. He's probably not going to be the same Devin Bush that he was prior to October, at least now. And then Hightower, who while he was a full participant, was banged up last week, and he will be out there as well. So banged up Bills made a tremendous take saying that the Buffalo Bills need to attack that level 1,000%. I wish that into maybe Dawson Knox, maybe Cole Beasley right up in the middle for some very short slant routes, some curl routes going into it. Attacking the middle of the field with these injuries on the table is going to be pretty interesting and something to look out for. For the most part, Dom Mafia, this is what the injury report looks like for both teams. Do me a favor and let me know your concerns about missing out on Starr, potentially missing out on Emmanuel, maybe a strategy going up against these Steelers linebackers, or overall. Have your expectations of this game changed at all? Leave it in the comments. Always want to hear it. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Report. And before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.